What up, y'all? What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Gerald. It is Saturday. You are in the midst of your weekend. How are you? Yes, you made it through. Yeah, you did. Sidestep some of them landmines you had this week. You was able to see it before it claimed you to bring another disappointment. Yeah, you did. You need to give yourself a pat in the back. You know why? It just validates what I've always said all along. See, we got something for you. So, we are in the midst, halfway through September. Where did the time go, y'all, this year? Our babies are back in school, adding another lesson, adding another blessing into the development of their lives. For they are our future, y'all. They are the seeds that were planted, and they will be cultivated to become those who will carry on the lesson, the legacy, your name. So how you been, y'all? Been doing okay? Been able to see the things that were intended to be seen that you didn't understand? Some of y'all had some pivotal experiences this week, didn't you? You didn't know what was being revealed, but when it was, instead of you overreacting, you took a step back. You assessed. You didn't allow your emotion to get the best of you. And you made calculated but logical decisions. I commend you because, see, far too many times we allow our emotions to distract us from the things that needed to be done. Sometimes you're going to have to roll your sleeves up, y'all, to put in the work for the outcome that is rightfully yours. But you already know that because, see, you're growing. Yes, you are. And you owe that to the person you really are. Yeah, you know that spiritual being, the person that you see in that mirror when you wipe your eyes and brush those pearly whites. Yes, you do. But you know what? It's kind of contradictory when you think about it because you have to now take inventory for where you are compared to where you were. Yes, you're looking down the hallway of your memories and you're thinking where you were this time last year compared to where you are and what you've seen. How about those people that are in your life now compared to those who ain't? Those who had access to you that should have heard and took the responsibility of knowing you. But see, time has a way of showing all because it was written that way. What is done in the dark always comes to light. And that can be stark for some, and it can be validations for others because at the end of the day, he's going to get his way with or without your consent. But the kicker is understanding how your placement was in it all alone. So guess what? Sometimes the truth that you had been afraid, maybe you didn't understand, maybe there was a misunderstanding or interpretation of what was being conveyed to you, and now it has been digested. You understand things crystal clear compared to what you thought was concrete. Just know that's how the Most High does. Because anything that's intended for you is for you. Yes, it is. Can't run from you, though we try, right? How about when you hold on to something with dear life because it's an ideology of what you've come to know, only to realize that it only served them. Who am I talking to? You're starting to see that there was a plot and a ploy to keep you at bay because, see, the environment already saw your potential before you did. And they used that as a means to keep you at bay. See, that's okay though, because see, that was a process that we all signed off for. Yeah, we did. See, you were there. You were the common denominator. Otherwise, if those who may have done you wrong had not had placement there, guess what? Not only indirectly would you have saw validation of the actions, but you would have also saw something bigger. If there wasn't something about you that was unique, that was one of a kind, that was blessed, they would have never wasted their time to hear you breathe. Who am I talking to now? So, how about this? When you gonna start respecting your heart? You starting to feel a certain kind of way because now you're getting a little paranoid, ain't you? Because people look at you, and you're like, and you say, I don't like how they stare at me. Why are they looking at me? Because you're beautiful. Accept it. You're beautiful. Everybody's beautiful in their own right, y'all. But guess what? That should be a position embraced with humility, with compassion, with understanding, as well as the responsibility that comes with it. Because, see, on everybody's spirit, there's a responsibility left by someone else. It's called your elders. You don't think that you woke up that morning on your first breath and you said, voila, I look like this. No, 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 no. You thank your elders for that. It's called that DNA. You thank God for allowing you to bear witness, because that is also a gift that is like the wildflowers outside your house or where you lay your head. Every flower. There's no such thing as an ugly flower. Hmm? Everybody's unique, y'all. But before that flower can even be opened up, it must have a stem. And that stem cannot stand erect without strong roots. The strong roots is the foundation. And those strong roots are found inside you because it is made of your spirit. It's made up by your heart. It's governed by your mind. So guess what? What you put in your mind is a reflection of what will be felt by your body, but it would also make the reaction and how you see your world. Who am I talking to? The day of the victim is over, y'all. You supposed to feel a certain kind of way because you didn't went through some stuff. You need to wipe them tears and smile because you're gonna make it through. And what is it always? And how was it said? What doesn't kill you makes you strong. But the reason why we go through the things is to show you what could be if you choose not to love yourself first. Who am I talking to? So why are you sitting over there feeling a certain kind of way? Because they don't call you. Because they don't check for you. because they don't invest in you. Don't you realize Johns never check? They only pay and keep it moving. So it's your responsibility to respect yourself so you don't fall in line with the pattern. How can someone respect you if you don't respect yourself? How can you show your strength and embrace how it really is, which is the you, if you won't love you? Did I get your attention yet? You got to stop lying to yourself. You got to, y'all. Them secrets, you do know secrets always come out, right? You know what's so funny about that? Secrets always, there, because those are spiritual ties. You do know that, right? So whoever those secrets you have, because number one, you're the common denominator in it, directly or indirectly, you're tied because you won't speak it. But you know one thing I noticed, because I believe God is also the ultimate comedian too. He'll let you do what you want to do without him in front of it, because he's going to give you signs and nuances through synchronicity all the time to let you know this ain't the way. And then he gets tired. He says, okay, since you don't want to listen, let me get out of the way. And I'm going to show you what I was protecting you from, no matter how beautiful they were. No matter if you're connected to them by blood and bone. Because, you know, any poison can be beautiful too. And guess what? Your lesson. Hot and piping, sitting right there in front of you. But you know what the lesson really is? It's a reflection of what's found inside you. How about those unspoken words manifested in flesh? And I know that's what kicks people in the butt, because you don't understand why. Because this is stuff that you have to break off from yourself. These are also the things that make up your fears. Who am I talking to? You know you want to go back to school. What's keeping you from it? Every time there's something that you need to do, you make 50,000 excuses why you can't. Why? Once you admit to yourself, hey, I'm afraid. Who am I talking to? And I know one of the biggest problems that people have today is communication. If the world communicated better, we wouldn't have half the stuff we got going on. You can't sit at the table if you don't know how to talk. How about talk to yourself first? How about do some self-inventory first? But yeah, we want to turn around and throw the moniker of, oh, you're a hater. You can't grow where there's something that won't grow, no matter how strong the roots is. The way that life society is, the winds of change will uproot the biggest tree and the most fragile heart. Who am I talking to? So what I'm trying to tell you guys is this. If you don't like what is going on now, outside your window, outside your door, you have a chance to change it. And it changes by you finally admitting to yourself what you need. How about the things that you wish to see growth in? I got this feeling right now. There's somebody that says, you know what, Gerald? I wish I could hear their voice just for a second. See, we take for granted the littlest things. And the things that divide us, when you ask the person, well, why are you and that person divided? They can never tell you why. Know why? Because it was spawned by fear. It was supported by pride. It was presented by ego. And those three things will always rob you like a thief in the night. But it'll take a long time for you to hear it, to feel it, to heal from it. Why? Because you fighting you. Don't you get it? You fighting yourself. You sitting over there. You see that person over there, and they exercise. They're putting in the dedication, and you're criticizing what they. Oh, look at them. She's this and she's that, but no one looks at the positive. Before she could get to that, she had to have an ethic. Before she had an ethic, she had to have a belief. And before that belief had to come, it was a thought. So somebody had to put that influence in that person. All they did was manifest it through action, which is the behavior. But see, it's too easy to criticize and very hard to walk in other people's shoes, because sometimes, because the shoes look nice, have the biggest stones in it too. Who am I talking to? You mad? You mad at the fact that you by yourself, and you convince yourself, well, this is life is going to be. Let me tell you what, devil's a liar. Devil wants you to think that you're going to spend the rest of your days by yourself, but you dream at night for the one. But just know this, the one is a spiritual person. Doesn't matter your gender, male or female. They are the representation of the best you. And guess what? The things you lack, that's their strengths. That's the meaning of being yoked. The yin and the yang. But with the yin and the yang, they're together. They're solidified. They are one. That's why when you see people getting married, you always hear it echo. The two flames. They try to water it down, but really what they're trying to say, why do you think they hear the term twin flame come? Flame? No, call it for what it is. The two spirits. But what a lot of people don't see or understand is the responsibility, because who has the stronger of the two spirits, the weaker one will take the traits of the strong. So if the stronger spirit is of a destructive nature, of an enabling position, the weaker one will be consumed, will walk, talk, act, and unfortunately become a prisoner in their own mind. That's not your story. It never was. Yeah, that's for somebody. That's your theme song, and that's for that one that you long for, but you can't get to. You know why you can't get to them? Because you got work you got to do. You got work you got to do. You can't shortcut your life. Your life is blessed. Your life has got fail safes in there, so that's why you got opposition. So when you backslide, when you want to take little shortcuts, guess what? Things fall apart. The small print comes up, causes you to step back and review. Why? Because God got something better for you. He got something for you. And guess what? It's your blessing. And all blessings will always supersede anything that you could fathom in your mind. It don't matter if you walk around here with a PhD. You'll never be able to wrap the concept of how great your blessing is. Why? It is custom tailored by a custom tailored God. Have you forgot He created you? You don't really think that you're here just to eat and take up space and reproduce and continue a generational cycle? No, you're the one that's going to break the cycle. It's going to be the patriarch or the matriarch of your family lineage. You don't believe me? Look at your history now. Look at your family tree. Look what's going on. Somebody needs to pick up the torch of the family name and guide. How about grow? Who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? But I say this out of love, y'all, because see, for somewhere along the way, you convinced yourself that you wasn't worthy of love. You based love on one night stands and stolen moments. That was when the devil was doing his best work. I'll do one better to help support that. Why do you think God said he wanted you to abstain? He wasn't saying that to punish you. He was saying that to protect you. Because think of it. When we're sexually active from a physical level, the two become one. So you got two temples, right? I ain't got to describe what go down. Well, we open, we're together, we're connected, we're in sync, we're intertwined, right? You think there's no spiritual influence in that? That's why some experiences feel like they're heaven sent or outer body experience. And some feel like it was just hell. Somebody laughing at that because they know what I'm talking about. That's why the best relationship you're going to ever have is of two people that love each other. But see, you can't love your mate if you don't love yourself. You got to have a template, y'all. That comes from within yourself. Within yourself, right? But guess what? Here's the thing. Your mate, they will automatically, without saying, know the responsibility of protecting your heart. How about earning the right to walk with you? How about you know what's found inside that beautiful mind? Because the most beautiful part of a being is a person inside, not here. Because this changes. Do I have to remind you this changes? Just look at my videos. All 580 something of them. God being. We change, but we should evolve. But see, we unfortunately fall down. Doesn't mean we can't get up, y'all. I know there's somebody right now, you doing this because you just sidestepped a major issue. Maybe it's been in your finances, or maybe it was a connection with somebody, and unfortunately, due to lessons that they had to go through, you knew if you had walked that path with them, you would have been infected. I just said infected. Maybe this would have been a health scare for someone, or maybe this would have affected someone from a social level. How about economic? But see, you was thinking you were getting punished because you were outside the circle. You ain't in nobody's circle. You never was. So while you over there tripping because your bed is cold, you better thank your stars. You better thank your stars that there's no one over there right there. Why? Because you ain't ready. You ain't ready. This is the time that you're supposed to work on you. This is the time that all your hopes and dreams, how about them hobbies you got? You're supposed to connect back to them. That's right. You're supposed to connect back to that little boy or that little girl that is you. So if you can't connect back to self, how can you stand and go forth with anybody when you don't know you? But see, society wants you to think, well, you know what? I can knock them down, Gerald. I got that good wood. Pockets are fat. But you walking around looking like Sammy Sosa when they gone. Pockets empty. Heart wounded. Why? Because you weren't respecting yourself. So if you don't respect yourself, how can you expect someone to see value what you stand for? How about that beautiful word, no? Who am I talking to? And see, this is what's going on now, y'all. You got a lot of people waking up that got in situations got married, got in relationships that had no love in it, and they gasping for air. They gasping for air because they were like, wow, this person right here, they provide everything I need, but uh but my emotion, I'm drowned. I don't have it. No, the one, yeah, that's the person you really dream about. The person of your dreams, you might not can't even see their face because God is so wonderful. He'll show you who they are, but he won't show you them. He'll show aspects of them and let you see it. Just like that. He'll just throw it in your dreams like that. You might be like, why did I dream that? Why? Because that's God letting you know, hey, look here. Hey, look, I'm trying to bring you to the door. But I can't get you there until you prepare. And that's why I've always echoed to you, my queens. Stop giving yourself so cheap. And I know the deal. I understand. Because a lot of y'all didn't have your dads in your life. Let's call a spade a spade. And your little friends, because you want validation. You want to feel emotionally safe. And I've never met a woman that has, you can tell a significant difference between a woman who has had her father in her life actively compared to a woman who hasn't. Because a woman that has not had a relationship with her father, she acts in desperation. Her emotions are heightened. She's more methodical, but she's more predatory too, because she has this disposition of, I'm not going to get God, but ends up usually getting God even more so because she's playing chess inside her mind. She's playing a game she cannot win because she doesn't know the rules. See, those rules were supposed to be taught to you by your father. And that role of the father could be any man that has a vested interest in you. He doesn't have to be your biological. Who am I talking to? You like talking to that guy. You lean to him for advice. Well, guess what? God will use whoever, whatever he needs to let you know that you are loved. How about that conversation you happen to walk into and it moved you so much? Because you're supposed to know about it. Come on now. But see, you listen to your friends. What's the commonality? Y'all got the same backstory. She didn't have her daddy, but she got a bunch of kids. And she thinks that, well, I got my kids. They're going to unconditionally love me. But really, I still got a hole in my heart in the shape of my father. I'm going to tell y'all, let me throw this out there again. I was trying to find the book, but there is a book called, what is the name of that? It's Hole in My Heart in the Shape of My Dad. And it has different scenarios of women that, the things that they went through and the effects of them not having their father and the influences that it not only had on their perception, but it also had on their lives. Very deep book, very therapeutic book, because I know some of y'all are dealing with that. You try to be like a tough cookie, but deep down, you fragile. You just need a good hug. You need somebody to console you and say, hey, it's okay. Give you that kiss on the side of your cheek. I know you do, but you can't show that to the world, because if you do, you think that you can be caught slipping. Let me tell you something. The intended person, the intended people will see you, will protect you, will love you unconditionally. Not everybody's supposed to walk with you, y'all. Not everybody's supposed to know your story. Not everybody's supposed to break bread with you, and not everybody's supposed to have access to hold you in that embrace. But just know the one, the one, they know what intimacy is because they have a connection with themselves. And that's forged because they have a relationship with God first. They put God first in everything they do. They stay prayed up. So one thing you're not going to do is they're not going to pull teeth to walk with you. They're not going to make you do anything. They will pray for you, and they hope that whatever you're going through, you make it through. But they'll never stand in your happiness. They'll never. And that's where growth comes into play, y'all. And so we live in a world where we want to have this take no prisoner mindset, but on the flip side is we don't want to take no accountability. Can't have it both ways. Meanwhile, you got little Ray out there driving you up the wall. He driving you up the wall because you know the reality is, yes, from a physical standpoint, he makes you climb the walls, but from an emotional or spiritual standpoint, he leaves you depleted. But you don't have the willpower to say, I need more. How about I deserve better? And so what do? You just stay there doing time. And you see it all the time. You see it in that. Listen, why do you think the Rude Boys wrote that song? It's written all over your face. Because the window to the soul is the eyes. So when you see people and they're weary because they ain't getting good rest at night. You know why they ain't getting good rest at night? Because the mind is twirling. Why? Because there's a lot of spoken truth that hasn't come out yet. Why? Because they feel unsafe. Why? Because they desire to be. They want to be comforted. They want to feel protected. But if you don't have it because you speak it not. Did God not say that? Did he not? So what do you see out there in society now? They are systematically trying to pimp your mind, pimp your pockets, and pimp your body. Why? They don't even hide it no more. They want every woman that walks this planet to be the hoe. Look at your dress, queen. Look. Put some respect in that. It used to be more is less. You know why? Because you stimulate the brain. Now it's let me show you all my goods. And you wonder why you're attracting John with a bunch of wood. Come on. That's not your story. It never was. But you can change that when you decide to respect your heart. But I know there's somebody saying right now, Gerald, you sound like you from some fairy tale. That's not true. It is true. Because good men exist. We exist. I'm one of them. Yes. Oh, yeah. You know what manners are. That's why when you look at bad boys out there, you know the commonality of bad boys is because they cannot communicate how they feel. So they have to overcompensate with their actions. That's why most will prefer to be feared than loved. Why? Because they're afraid that if they show any vulnerability, they will lose their footing in society. Let me tell you something. Society don't give a damn. Never did. The one that should give a damn is you. It affects you. So meanwhile, you out there holding it down times 3. He's sitting on the corner. He's sitting on the couch. And you're doing all the work. Why do you think we got divorce court on TV and paternity court and Maury and Bill? You know why? Because they laugh into the bank because they realize The commonalities is none of these people respect themselves to honor their lives. If they did, why would you need someone to tell you between your legs? If you respected your dreams, why do you have to come on TV to ask questions that should have been asked in private? Because most people lack communicational skills. You know why? Because they're afraid. They're afraid. So if you're afraid, how can you call yourself an adult? You're not. You're playing childhood games, playing mind games. I don't know where she is, Gerald. Should have been home. She won't pick up her phone, Gerald. I'll call her now. The caller now the voicemail's filled up. Now it just goes to can't get through. Come on, man. If somebody's doing that to you, they don't respect you. I know somebody's saying, yeah. Now here's the real question, because I hold you responsible too. Why are you putting up with it? Why are you putting up with it? Because this should be the red light for you. This should be a red flag indicator that that person does not respect how you feel. But what's even sad is they know you ain't going nowhere. So guess what? They continue to do it, and it becomes worse. I know it's easy, or you would like to see the best in all people. But guess what? There are some people that like to live in their pain. They do. That's why we hear the cliche, misery loves company. You know what? That table is very long. It starts way back to maybe your family lineage. I mean, think about it. How is it in 2016 we do not fully know who we related to? We got drones in the sky, y'all. We can put a man on the moon, but we don't even know our own siblings. What's wrong with that? Our trees are dying at alarming rates. Our water is being contaminated. I know y'all saw the story. I know y'all saw the story that's going on down in Florida. What's going on with the state of Florida right now? If the mosquitoes don't mess up your blood, the water is. I know y'all saw that story. How is it you got a 45-foot sinkhole, but you don't see nobody down there trying to stop the flow of that stuff? And all they can say, well, there's a possibility it's going to hit the water table. You know damn well it's going to hit the water table. And guess what's going to happen? Anything that's connected to that flow of water is going to be affected. How about the stuff you eat? How about the stuff that may be grown? We are what we eat, y'all. So it's going to have a circular effect. You ever thought about that? I told y'all about Zika. Slowly but surely, they trying to say, well, we done all we could. Come on, Law. Come on, y'all. Florida ain't the only state. And then what happened in the last 3 to 4 weeks? What's going on right now for y'all on the East Coast? What's happening with those storms? You think those mosquitoes don't get caught up in that breeze and get blown up somewhere? How about people that are moving? You don't think a mosquito can't get into their household goods? Hello, trucks, shipping, logistics. So do what? To land on you, get you infected. That's why I'm going to say this once and I'm going to get off of it. I cannot stress this. Your body is your temple. It is very important that you stay hydrated, because water is the only way you're going to flush out your immune system on a constant. But you got to take your vitamins, y'all. You got to keep your immune system on point. You got to keep it high so that when things, because your skin, your pores, unless you walk around looking like the mummy, doesn't matter how much you bathe. Every time you go outside, you're exposed to something. So guess what? It's more than 50% your responsibility to keep your body on point. Here's another thing. It is not no secret, y'all, that we're seeing so many boys they're acting feminine. Acting feminine. Now, before I get on this and it's like, oh, Joe, you ranting, I want y'all to peep this out. Because I've been looking too. I've been like, wait a minute, this don't add up. You know, my little spiritual radar has been going like, this don't add up. And I'm looking at this from a logical standpoint. But yes, you've had people say, well, we're the only human beings. We're the only species that we drink milk from the cow. You don't see goats drinking cow's milk. Yeah, we know that. And there are different options of vitamin D. You don't have to drink milk for vitamin D. There are vegetables that have vitamin D in it. How about your alkaline? You're alkaline in your body? How about that? Maybe that's the reason why you're not getting the sleep you need. How about the migraines? You got migraines going on? Having sinus issues? It's because your immune system is constantly being attacked. So how about this? If you got money to go out and blow it on some processed food, how about you spend a couple dollars and buy you a good detox? That's right. Go get you a nice little detox for about a good one, run you from anywhere from $20 to $35. You take it over the weekend, and it'll cleanse your system out. You have some detox out there that will actually clean your blood out. Yeah, it's gonna get funky in there. I know somebody laughing about it, but yes, but that's because you do understand your intestines can hold almost 15 pounds of processed food. It sits in your walls. Someone said, I know I saw that corn in the toilet. Shut up. But you see what I'm saying, right? Now, why do you think people are now more than ever are having issues with their blood now? Huh? But you don't hear nobody talking about HIV like they used to. What happened to that? You don't hear people talking about hepatitis A, hepatitis C, hepatitis B. It don't get to traffic like it used to no more. Why is that? Why? Because the medical business is exactly that, medical. And guess what? You got those future doctors, they're going to have those student loans that are going to be the price of a house, and they're going to need you to pay them off. Who am I talking to? That's why it's always good to study. And your greatest lesson is going to be about you, y'all. I'm going to throw this out there because I got this feeling somebody needs to hear this. Yeah, Kings. You having a problem with it ain't squirting like it need to? I mean, like using the bathroom? You ain't, that's your prostate. Your prostate is enlarging. Guess what? Take a good detox, cleanse yourself out, and watch your flow come back. It also could be a predeterminant of having erectile dysfunction too. Someone say, ain't nothing wrong with my yang. Ain't nothing wrong with my yang, Gerald. Leave my yang alone. Listen here. Who said that as you get older, everything's supposed to fall apart? I disagree with you. And I'm going to prove that to y'all. Because in about, I'd say about 3 weeks or so, Gerald getting back in the gym. I miss my size. I miss my 6-pack. I miss that. Well, I mean, I still got one, but I've been slacking. I ain't been in the gym in almost 3 years. But because of the work I do, it keeps me in shape. But I want to get my, listen here, Queens, you know what I'm telling. You know I'm telling the truth. You like it when you see that guy, he got that V on his hip bump? Yeah. You like that, don't you? Because that means his core is tight. If his core is tight, his back is, yeah, I know somebody's saying, woo! Mm-hmm. That ain't nothing but the fruits of your life. And guess what? I know to make that a reality, I have to divorce these. And I'll be honest with you, because I have no choice. I love smoking. I smoke more because of the fact, not because of nicotine. I like smoking. I don't know if it's more or less placebic, but see, I got something for that because I've had these for about over a year. They're peppermint and licorice from the tree, cut up in little twigs. Y'all know, some of y'all might know. Y'all might have remembered when Wu-Tang was doing their thing. You used to see some of the guys walk around with this little stick in their mouth. Then the ones who couldn't afford those things, they just put the toothpick in there, or they would put the toothbrush in their mouth, looking all ghetto. You know why they did that? It's because they were doing that as a placebo, so they didn't smoke. Because it's more mental than anything. That's all it is. So let's fast forward. Y'all, we blinked twice, and it's going to be Halloween. Then you're going to be running out for Thanksgiving, and then you're going to be right in the mix for Christmas, and the year is going to come to a close. Have you given yourself any thought of where you want to be next year? I mean, look at it this way. What do you want to accomplish in the next 6 months? Have you even entertained that at all? Have you ever thought about it yet? Because if you blink twice, we're going to be in 2017, and I am going to speak on 2017 in December. Because I'm just going to say this. If you don't like what life is showing you now in 2016, you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to make that decision now. You're running out of time in regards to where you're going. And what that means is there are going to be some people, there are going to be some prolific things that are going to occur, because there are going to be some people that are going to, they're more or less, they're going to expose themselves to you, and they're going to be some that you're going to be broken from. That's right. Because see, God has something better for you. So, first of all, stop thinking you're crazy when you're having these side thoughts. Like, why am I thinking this? Why am I finding interest in that? Why am I wanting to? And you're saying, well, I like this, but they think I'm being an eyeball. No, that's who you're being exposed to, the real you. That's also a sign of growth too. But guess what? When it comes to growth, it's not your responsibility to make them grow. It's supposed to be in tandem, together, parallel. Notice parallel, to be yoked. Two people going in different directions can't go forward. So why are you having a emotional battle to be happy? Why are you going through that? Why is it when you want to better yourself, you got no support? Maybe those people are not supposed to have access to your life right now, and you have to go within. Maybe you're supposed to be by yourself right now. You ever thought about that? Because before you can go forward, you got to complete the projects that you left along the way. Who am I talking to? Hmm? Maybe that's why you're having dreams about them. Ooh, I went there, didn't I? Somebody got a validation because this is for somebody. You knew this song when you first heard the first two notes. That's somebody's feeling real certain kind of way now, ain't you? You want to just pick that phone call. You want to pick that phone up and just say hello, but you're afraid. Why? Because the devil got control of your life. Hey, you do. But don't get it twisted. Because I know some. Listen, why are you putting more emphasis on what them tarot cards are saying than what your heart is telling you? Who am I talking to? But you know what that devil card look like too, right? That's why when you look at the devil's card, what do you see? He's above, he's got a chain, and there's a man and a woman right there. That means he got dominion or influence over those people. And those people might be the people that spark your temptation. How about your curiosity? You think, well, Gerald, they helped me grow. They showed me a perspective I never would have saw. Imagine what the one would show you if you prepared. Imagine what your life would be if you allowed yourself to heal. Imagine what your life, how different your life would be if you finally opened up your heart. Some of y'all just need to cry. But you too worried about what everybody else will think. I'm like, those are your emotions, not theirs. Why do you give a damn about what they think? If they the ones causing you pain, how about they may be the ones that are holding you back? But here's the thing that may feel like it slapped the taste out of you. Maybe those were the ones that already knew how beautiful you were, but wanted to keep you distracted so you couldn't. You ever thought about that? Because love don't hurt, y'all. It never does. And here's the beautiful thing about love, because it is the ultimate illustration of God. But see, love never dies, y'all. It never dies. It only transforms. That's why it's very, very important that you know what love is, starting with yourself, as well as using the term. You always hear people say, well, what happened to you and Charlie? Well, I don't love him no more. You never loved Charlie. You never loved Charlie because you didn't love yourself. How can you that was lust. That was also your lesson to stop. But see, society, people have gotten so condoned and conditioned that they think, well, if I don't see nothing tangible, I guess I'm all right. But it's always you got to turn around, pick them pieces up, huh? When you look around, they ain't never there. When you need that, it's going to be all right. You can't find them. You can't find them. And what does that do? It robs your heart. Because you're dealing with resentment now. You're dealing with anger now. You're feeling that you got played. But you know what? Here's something you don't never hear people say. A person can't play you unless you sign off to be played. Did you hear me? Did you hear what I said? A person can't play you unless you sign off to be played. So, if you govern the company you keep, how can they do so? If you establish how you wish to be treated, how can that occur? because we teach people how we wish to be treated. And haven't you noticed the moment then when you allow your voice to be heard, and that's what y'all see a lot of times, especially in Walmart. I don't know what it is about Walmart. Walmart, that's where everybody want to show their teeth. They want to act. They want to act a damn fool. I don't know what it is about that. Maybe it's the greeter or something. I don't know. But if it gets to a point where you feeling like that's a final straw, guess what? They should have never been in your life to begin with. But see, if you live in your life with a stopwatch, okay, I'm gonna do this, stop. I'm gonna go over here, stop. And you don't take the steps to understand what you're being exposed to, you're gonna miss the small details. But the commonality is you both think alike. And all they doing is illustrating things that you may have done to someone else. Who am I talking to? And it is your turn to learn the lesson. And that's the one thing about denial, y'all. Denial does not know time, because denial is nothing but a description word of pain. And guess what? Pain only knows one thing, and that's consistency. It takes courage to champion it. And the only way you're going to have courage is speak your truth. So while you're over there popping off at the people in the cheap seats, just know the people in the cheap seats don't give a damn. All they're doing is looking for a come up, and they need you to do the work. Who am I talking to? That's not your story. But you know what? Unfortunately, you got some people to do this. And it's so sad. They go through life with this victim card. Like, well, because if he did this to me, I'm going to do this to anybody else. Don't you realize you perpetuate your own pain? And if you don't stop, you also set up the foundation of what we know as generational curses. Because God forbid if you have people of influence in your life looking at you as the example, you are teaching them the behavior what will be deemed known as normal. So if mama didn't love herself, if all dad did was drink all the time, I'm going to think that it's all right to argue and drink. I heard something I had to be channel surfing yesterday. Because I was off. And Wendy Williams made a comment that made me think. She was talking about a scenario of somebody was getting engaged, right? And she said, well, I remember when the man would go to the father to ask for the hand of marriage to the daughter. And the father's consent would be the validation that marriage would even occur. And then she said, well, those days are long gone. And I shook my head. I was like, nah. And I understand why she said that, because you have a lot of women that have this, I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it, and I'm going to be a go-getter. And if I want to go get a man, I'm going to go do that. But these end up being the same women that end up more hurt, because you're messing up the hierarchy, the divine order. See, all God asks you to do is to prepare for him, because it's going to be him that is going to have the spiritual keys to open up not only your heart, but the other side of your life. Who am I talking to? You're not going to find that on these dating sites. You ain't going to find that. I'm going to tell you why. Because God never asked you to go there, first of all. He don't need your help. He asked you, did he tell you, no, I need you going out there and put 50,000, going out there and put all these, get on social media, and I need you to make sure you show your ass right and prop them up and display like Candy Girl. But then who's left holding the bag? You. Because guess what? All them bad boys. And that's why they call them bad boys, because they're not men. Because they're thinking primal. They're thinking one track. They see instant gratification. They don't see forever. Who am I talking to? But meanwhile, you're frustrated because you're thinking that God is punishing you. He ain't punishing you, but he's not going to give you your blessing so you can squander it. So guess what happens? You go through turmoil. But guess what? You're beating yourself up. You're beating yourself up. He ain't doing it. He's trying to. He's. And here's the thing. You know why things are going down that way? Because it's your ego and really your fear that has convinced you that you don't need God. You don't need him. So guess what? He shows you life without him. So is your life the way you want it? You got to be honest with yourself. Is your life the way you want it? Now imagine what life would be like if you put God in front of it. Because guess what? He wrote your legacy when he gave you your first breath. Why you think you look like, oh man, some of y'all are so beautiful on the outside, but so broken. And it kind of makes sense why fashion industry is the way it is. Why? Because socially, they're treating you like the baby dolls. They're dressing you in anything. How many of y'all remember that when y'all had your baby doll and you took little scraps and made little design? That's the same thing they doing with you. Notice you ain't putting no underwear under there, did you? No, that's the same thing they doing to you now, and you in your 30s. Who am I talking to? But you wondering why you can't attract a good man. Because you are entertaining desires, not needs. But just know, if you do the work, y'all, if you do the work and trust that God's got your best interest, it be worth it in the end. You'll end up being those you see. You'll be that woman that like, you know what? He's my blessing. He is a good man. Because guess what? Yes, it is no secret, queens. There's a short line to good men. But there's even a shorter line for spiritual ones. And I'm going to tell you what, and this is where y'all not going to like it. A spiritual man is not going to let you run your home. He's not. He going to fight you for it, though. He'll make one of his own. And that's why you seeing this now. You know why? Because when you take it upon yourself to try to build a home and then put the man in it, it's defiled. It's not blessed. And you'll find this. A whole lot of drama will come to your doorstep. Why? Because God didn't tell you to do that. God told you to prepare yourself so that man can show you what happiness really is. You ain't going to find happiness in the club, y'all. You understand that, right? You'll never find happiness in that stolen moment. I don't care if he got lumber. That's the least that should matter. How big is his heart? How big is his spirit? Because I'm going to tell you what. If his heart is not big, you're going to be walking around feeling numb. You're going to be doing this. Why am I in this relationship with you? If you having conversations like that on a regular within your own, number one, that tells me you're afraid. You are on borrowed time, and you are most vulnerable to be you're really attacked. And what I mean is, see, the devil will turn around and send people into your life to test you, to test your fortitude. Like, yeah, I know you with him. He seems like he's a good dude. But look at that handsome guy right there. And that guy will be a walking, talking image of your fantasy. And I have you feeling a certain kind of way, because then you're going to go home to that guy that's there. And you're going to be feeling a certain kind of way. But here's the thing. Your integrity is already compromised because you can't even talk about what's going on inside your head. Who am I talking to? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Don't you realize your mate is going to be your best friend, your confidant, your protector? He's going to be your everything. Kings, let me flip it back. After you've done the work, because guess what? A lot of women don't understand. You come with your legacy, your last name, but guess what you also come with? You come with your divine seed. See, she can't have a child without you in it. So guess what? If you don't love yourself, yeah, you can have a child, but that child will go through hell. You know why? Because part of your spirit and part of her spirit will make their being. And that's what the devil wants. He does. He gonna be that little hellion. He don't want to do nothing. Why? Because he's got your personality and got his attitude. That makes both of y'all. But can people change? Every day, y'all. Every day. The question is, why won't you? What you afraid of? What that person got over you to keep you in your pain? I know you're not as weak. See, people on my channel are smart. They love themselves. They're speaking their truth. You're doing the work. And you seeing your validations through your life, ain't you? You sell that. You didn't know that person would do what they did to you, but it was shown. But look at where you are now. You're doing this. Like, I'm glad I didn't do this. Who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? Listen, if you think this year was revealing, you wait till 17 hit. For 17, if it hasn't happened now, everything about you is going to be turned upside down. I want you to know that. I want you to be prepared for that. Everything's going to be tested. All your bonds, everything. You're going to look at your life. You're going to finally sit down at the table and look at your life like, okay, does this make me grow? Do I need to have this? And you're going to strategize. And you're going to come to conclusions that, hey, if it doesn't make me grow, it's holding me back. And you're gonna have to stand up there by yourself. And I'm feeling this right now. Somebody's having problems with their children. Your son. Your boy will be okay. He's reacting off of what you're not doing. Because he loves his mama very dearly. But his behavior doesn't reflect that. And y'all doing this. First of all, you're not his daddy, you're his mother. You can't teach him to be a man. You have to accept that. It takes another man to raise a boy. He has to have that influence. And until you allow that to happen, you are setting him up for failure. Because guess what? He only has half of his perception. Because guess what? You got two sides of your brain, right? So only one part is being affected. The other part that makes him is not. It's void. So why do you think they got correctional facilities out there? Why do you think they got that yellow tape out there? Hmm? Why you think the streets are flooded with guns? Hmm? Does it surprise you now? Is it screaming what the hell's going on? Because you have those people that don't want you here. I'm not making this a melanin thing. I'm not. I'm talking about a mankind thing. There are some people that don't want you here. Does not. They say, well, you know what? You're not productive, so end your life. And so let's hurry up and make this quick. Okay, if we can't make you a junkie, we'll make you a convict. Who am I talking to? Oh, you think you're smart? I'll tell you what, we'll put referendums around you, and then you'll do what we tell you to do, or we won't finance you. How about those who are doing social services right now? Hmm? How is it the fact that the social services say they want to support you, but they tell you right off the bat you can't be in a relationship? It's kind of like the shepherd with the sheep, right? Like the farmhand with the field of all the cattle. And what do you see? You don't see no bulls in there, do you? See a bunch of female cows with their calves. Why? Same thing in social services, y'all. It's like, no, 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 no. We're going to tell you how we want things done. They don't want you to think. They want you to be the consumer. Why? Because we're going to go after your babies, too. Because they know one thing is mommy, as long as mommy's not happy, they ain't going to be happy. But they're dependent on mommy's emotional state. So if all mommy doing is getting it in, getting high, being belligerent, well, guess what? They're going to think that's normal to do. But it's going to be you that has to pick up your heart because now your daughter is repeating the same bad habits you chose not to heal from. Who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? I mean, don't trip because media only portrays one aspect because we know that's slanted. It's more slanted than Fox News. But that's how they do it because it's a program. That means somebody's got to sit down and write the story. But has anybody sat down to think, well, if somebody's writing the story so it can be put out there, what was their mind state? Were they writing it with a bias? What was their agenda? Hmm? That's why you don't see good news. Why? Because they don't want to empower you. But God loves you. I'm praying for you. You got to make a decision. You going to claim your life back? You going to stand up? You going to stand up and go within yourself? You going to throw that stopwatch out the window? What's the point on going through life in your car? You driving around burning up nothing but gas and you ain't doing nothing. Who am I talking to? You driving around just for validation from somebody and can't find it. You know why? Because it's here. It's inside you. It was already there. But you can't tap into it until you have that conversation with God. What you so afraid of? You call yourself being strong. I'm independent. Let me tell you something. Nobody on this planet is independent. We are interdependent with each other. Whoever fed you that lied to you. But I know this too. The same people that was pitching that to you, queens, don't love themselves. And they hate men. And they want you to hate men. That's why they make sure that they point out every bad mistake so you can say, yup, yup. But you know what they don't tell you? They never say, well, look at your part. We are what we attract. So if you're tired of the bad behavior, why don't you stop? Nobody can do something to you unless you allow it. Hello? And one thing I had to learn myself. It doesn't matter what a man has. It doesn't matter. It will never open your legs. Who am I talking to? It will never open your legs. So what's going on up in here? Instead of you acting like a Capital One, what's in his wallet, what's going on up here? Because I'm going to tell you what you're not going to see. When you hear all this negative ranting about men, it's never about the good guy. He ain't nowhere in sight. You know why? Because you can't see him. You know why? Because God don't put him in there. He don't put him in that mess. That's why you ain't going to find that good dude in the club. You ain't going to find him there. That's why Usher even said there's no love in the club. That's why everything's done in the dark. That's why the drinks are always all strong. That's why the music is so high. That's why the beats are so rhythmic. Why? To push you to lose your control. Only for you to find your reality when you're looking for your drawers the next morning. Or worse. Who's that? You terrified. Like, who's this? What did I do? He over there grinning. Kings, you do it all the time too. You run around sticking your dipstick in anybody. Don't you realize you have your seed? And that seed has your legacy and lineage connected to it. How about your spiritual essence? You can't just give that to anybody because she looks like she fell from a magazine. Don't you realize? Magazines are Photoshop. And peep game, Queen. Haven't you noticed? You seen all these women nowadays that ran out to do this and do this and do this and do this. They're looking like the Grinch these days, ain't they? Ain't enough makeup to. They're looking, as the years go by, they look real hard. They look real demonic now, don't they? Don't you realize when God created you, he made you perfect? That's why the surgeons they get you to sign the paperwork because they know they didn't. Hey, look here. I'm here to provide a service. Ain't nobody get on that. Ain't nobody told you to move this here to put it back. Now you got women walking around with dump truck booties. Look here, Queen. You want to plump your buns? You want to plump them buns? I'll tell you 2 ways you can do it. I say this out of love. Some of y'all might not know. And from you, first of all, from my young queens, I'm going to throw this out there too. And this goes to you too, Kings, because I'll wrap this up and go. You will not know who you really are until you hit the age of 35. So the mindset that you have at 35 will not be the mindset that you have at 25. The mindset that you have when you're 25 will not be reflected to the one that you have when you are 19. And the mindset that you have at 19 should not reflect what you were thinking when you were 15. It is progressive. That's why it's called your life. Why you turn around playing NASCAR, trying to experience things that you see on TV because they're doing it? Don't you realize that's one of the greatest means of manipulation ever? Huh? I warned y'all when 50 Shades of Grey came out. I said, you better watch that. That is nothing but a spiritual door. But a lot of y'all didn't. And what y'all do? You ran in there, got them whips and got them chains, started spanking on each other, and that's why you got that secret drawer. Well, guess what's not in that drawer? Love. Because I'm going to tell you what. When you have someone that genuinely loves you from the top of your hair, from every hair follicle to your toenails, they don't need props, baby. They need opportunity. They need opportunity. And it starts from your mind. You make love to a person's mind before you make love to their body. And that takes time. That is progressive because it's required by communication. So If you're not putting the communication in, how can you call this person friend? How can they have that title? Because a friend has earned the right to walk with you. But if they're not willing to walk with you, how is it they're even able to hear you breathe? How about know your name? How about know your story? Because they're going to be a part of it. They shouldn't be a footnote. They should be part of the experience. Because you are the experience. You are the living testament. You are the journey. So why are you standing in the shadows, looking back for where you were, confused to where you're going? See, until you make a conscious decision to fall back in love with you, you will never know where you're going, nor will you know the people that are meant to guide you along the way. That's not your story. It never was. But I'm going to keep praying for you too. Don't worry. For those who have decided to do the work, a whole lot of blessings are waiting on you. And they're going to come and be revealed in the intended time. They will. And they'll serve as validations for you too. It was God's will to get you there. You had to go down that path to face that challenge, to learn the wisdom of that experience. If it was meant for you to ultimately be, it would not have passed. Who am I talking to? Remember that last disappointment? Look at where you are now. You thought that would never come to, it would never end, but look at where you are. Because God loves you. But it's not God's responsibility to come get you. He created you. So, will the real people stand up? Because the fake ones won't. It's time for you to claim your life back. Allow so God can send them blessings. And guess what, queens? I know society wants you to believe that your happy ever after is exactly nothing but a fantasy, but I'm here to tell you, your happy ever after comes by way of a spiritual man that knows God's name. And if he knows God's name, guess what he also knows? He also knows the responsibility of giving it to you. And that's his. And the real question is, why do you not think you're worth it? God's praying for you. You know who I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. I hope you guys have a blessed weekend. Place God first in everything you do. Sidestep the negative. Ground your feet, but also speak your truth. Because as long as you speak your truth, it knocks down fear, it keeps away pain, and it checks denial because you are blessed. And it's your story. Every day is a good day when you're at peace. And aren't you worth it? I think so. Love to hear from you, y'all. Be blessed.